Hey guys, welcome to Coffee Cup Christianity, where we are getting jacked for Jesus. My name is Mike. I'm so glad you're here. We are in the next video of our series called Tough Questions. And the tough question that we're going to answer today is, why is the world so full of suffering? So let's get started. Okay, so the question is, if God is all loving and created the world, then why is the world so filled with suffering? And so what we're going to answer today is we're going to answer this question kind of in the context of, think of like victims of crime or kind of like innocent people, but we're going to kind of look at it as more of like an individual type of answer. In some of our next videos, we're going to kind of get into more of the natural disasters and kind of like, groups of people type of things that might go wrong that are like group suffering. But for this particular video, we're going to answer this question in the context of one person being bad to another person. Okay, so let's get rolling. So it's kind of normal to be angry at God. In fact, God's ready for it. He's expecting it. He knows that you might be angry at him if you have to suffer in life. And so actually the Bible records this in several places. Probably the biggest example is the book of Job. The whole book is about this guy named Job who basically just suffers the whole time. In fact, Satan and God kind of have this conversation in the beginning where God's like, look, man, you can do whatever you want to this guy. He's still going to love me. He's still going to worship me. And Satan, essentially the whole book is explaining how this guy loses like his wife, his family, his kids, his friends. He gets sick. He loses all this, he almost dies, all these things. But in the end, his suffering is turned into triumph, right? And so there's a bunch of other examples of that in the Bible. But the important thing is that God's ready for your anger. He expects it, okay? He's not intimidated by it. He expects it. He takes it head on, and he turns that suffering into triumph. Okay, so it's important to know that God meets you at your anger, okay? However angry you are, however much anger you have towards God, God will have an equal amount of love for you. So remember last time we talked about God giving us free will, because he gives us free will to choose to love him. And if he gives us free will to choose to love him, we also have the free will to kind of not choose to, or to choose not to do something, right? And so with the possibility of free will being used to love God or to love others, there's also the possibility that we might use that free will we might misuse it, right? We might misuse our free will and instead hurt someone. And so that's a very real possibility. And then that's part of that free will. See, what kind of freedom is the freedom to love and not love without also being the freedom to enrich or to harm, right? And so, again, we have this free will that God gives us. The reason that we have this free will is, could you imagine, the only alternative to not having free will would be to not have free choice. And if we have that situation, we're in a position where we're robots, right? Like if we don't have free will, if God doesn't give us a choice to do anything, then essentially he's set us on a track. It's like those cars on those racetracks that they just go around in a circle. There's no end or beginning. You just put them on, you push start, and they just go around and around. You can't control who wins or loses those races. And so that's what it's like if we don't have free will. And that kind of makes things pointless, doesn't it? So that's why it's important that we have that free will. But again, part of that free will is the free will to misuse the free will that we have. So I just want to wrap this up by saying freedom which is prevented from being exercised is not freedom at all, okay? Let me put it this way. A couple years ago, each of our kids got like $50 for Christmas, and my wife and I decided, you know what we really want? We want a Switch. And it was really a Switch for me and my wife, okay? The Nintendo. I really wanted one. They were brand new, and they're like $300 or $400. And so we told the kids, we didn't really give them a choice. We told them, hey, wouldn't you guys really want to get a Switch? You give me your $50, our other kid gives us $50. We all pool our money together, and we have like 10 kids, so it shouldn't be a problem, right? We all throw $50 in, and then we'll get the Switch, right? And the kids were like all on board with it. We made them think that they had a choice. We kind of force the choice on them by saying, you really don't have a choice. Okay, this is what we're going to do with the money. And so did they really have did they really have free will to decide what we were doing? Well, not really. If I just said, hey, I'm going to give you this $5 and I said, you need to go buy me a pack of gum, a big pack of gum, apparently $5 pack of gum, but go buy me a pack of gum, and the kid says, well, I want to buy something else. No, you're only allowed to buy a pack of gum. Well, is it your money or is it my money now, right? So it's important to know that's part of what God wants. He wants us to use that free will, and he gives it to us. Free will is like an irrevocable gift. It's a gift with no takesies backsies, okay? And so we're given it by God. He doesn't expect us to make a choice. He doesn't say you can only make one choice. No, we get to make either choice we want, good or bad. So free will, man. I hope you use that free will to come back and see me next time.